have 37 total today. Let's divide them up. I try and, since we've been together all summer, I try and designate who I know works well together. I try and take into consideration what campers work best with what counselors, and I take into consideration who doesn't work well together, because some children their personalities don't click, so I try and keep them apart.
Children need opportunities to work alone, in parallel, and in pairs, and in small and large groups. Some groupings happen spontaneously. Others, particularly small and large groups, should also be created by teachers to encourage different instructional opportunities. Most obviously, groups present situations in which social learning occurs as children watch, listen, play, solve problems, and share their observations with peers. Older children may want to self-select who they work with. This is appropriate as long as the children know that this is a privilege. If they are unable to stay on task or demonstrate inappropriate behavior, the adult will move them to a group of the adult's choice.
One of the things I decided to do, like in designing the camp, was to give the groups names, just in the sense of making it a little bit more camp-like, because depending on the age of the kid and their exposure to experiences, this might be the only camp-like experience that they get for the summer. So by giving them group names, not only does it help me identify the groups and the kids, it also gives them a sense of something to bond over. The very first day they had to go on a scavenger hunt where they had to do activities together, and when they got to the lab, that's when they found out what the group name was. And they had to kind of work that out. It was all mixed up and they had to unscramble it to figure it out. So right away that kind of gave them something to bond over, and then it gave them an identity together. It helps too then with the materials, because when they're doing activities, like the first day we had a lot of activities where we can't get the results from it until Friday. So to keep it organized, when the mentors were labeling things, they were able to put initials for the group names along with the kid's name, and then depending on how they did the experiment, because with that experiment the kids had a lot of options, so they were choosing from a variety of sodas and juices, and so to know what kind of results they were getting and to compare them in the end, they needed to be labeled. So it's got their name on it, their group initials, just in case they would accidentally get mixed up for some reason, and then what's in it, so that if they would forget from Monday to Friday, then they know, and they know that they're getting results for. These were kids that we were going to be with for 3-4 weeks or a longer period of time. Then as I would see the behaviors, kind of more behaviors in the wrong direction, I would probably split those group of kids apart. For example, our group that has the 5 kids that tend to bring out more of the behaviors that you don't want to see, where they just get really silly, they get more off task, I would split that group and have one of those kids in each of a separate group. So I'd space them out entirely. I think also the thing, as you get to know kids better, is to kind of watch their behaviors and how they interact with people, and so to kind of try and mix in those kids with somebody that they can get along with, but that will bring out the side of them, because they're all great and they're interested in the science and they're having a good time with it, just bringing out that side of them as opposed to the side that's more silly and off task. Because it can kind of go either way. Like if you've got the person next to you encouraging you to take a closer look, you're going to do that, but if you have another person that's encouraging you to get more off task, that might be the route that you go.
This is a little frozen because if it wasn't frozen, it'd be more down here.
Yeah.
Why is it like at the top? It's kind of going down a bit, like right there.
And sometimes they don't really want to do it because they just got out of school, but you got to make it fun. So in order to make it fun, you got to put the right kids in the right groups. You can't put the knuckleheads with the knuckleheads, because it's going to be a problem. So what you got to do is separate them, put them in the groups. We the older 2 groups, and the younger kids, they do the experiments and stuff, but our kids are really starting to branch out, I guess you could say. So they want the 2 oldest groups to work together so we can really do a good job.
Don't put knuckleheads
with more knuckleheads fit knuckleheads with people that learn, so they be like, well, let's do this and such, like somebody that's gonna push them more.
Splitting into groups is always challenging. It's always different. I never have the same groups, and it's never for the same reason. For this lesson itself, I wanted to mix 5th graders with kindergartners so they can help each other. Sometimes in bigger groups, some conflicts may arise where they don't really stay on topic and they don't get the answers that they're looking for. So it really is best just to break it up into smaller groups if it's possible for your center. There's other times where I know that this person can't be with this person because you know something's going to go wrong. I have twin girls. They're not very good together. they do work together well sometimes, but other times I know that they just shouldn't be in the same group. So think about that ahead of time, how you want to break them up. You can let them choose and then adjust if you need to, or you can just pick on your own. It's whatever really works with your program.